Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Chris. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
So the first question is about the new Troop Builder 4-packs. They've been incredibly well received. They're selling through fairly quickly. The Stormtrooper pack is already sold out. So what is the plan with these? Is it to ensure there's enough stock for all, or are they limited releases and once the initial stock's gone, that's it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We love these as well. These were the brainchild of Emily, our designer on Vintage Collection. It's a great idea, and we're so glad to hear that the fans love them as well. These are not necessarily one and done items. They aren't intended as kind of they go up and they sell out and they're gone forever. That being said, we're not able to commit to kind of keeping them in stock always. But basically, if there is demand for those additional runs, we're exploring that process of keeping those in stock. So definitely potential there. And obviously, given the reaction and demand we've seen, that's something we're excited to explore.
So there will be more Stormtrooper packs available at some point, hopefully.
We're exploring that. We can't commit to it, but we agree that the need is there, and we're gonna, for the packs where it makes sense, we're gonna try to make that happen.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Khalil from Kastor's Corner. Morning, Khalil.
Good morning. How you doing, guys? We've seen some of the other Hasbro lines move to less plastic in their packaging. Star Wars typically is a brand that you want to see the package, the vintage collection, of course.
Yeah.
Black Series love the new kind of line look with the art on the side. Is there a move to make those a little less plasticky? We've talked about that in the past, but is there any update on that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we currently do have some sustainable packaging in places in our line with premium role play. You mentioned vintage with our vintage vehicles and play sets. And obviously our leadership made that commitment a few years ago, which we're, proud to be a part of a company that would make that commitment. As you mentioned in Star Wars, the packaging is very important. And so, just like we can't comment on a product that hasn't been revealed yet, we can't comment on any packaging updates that haven't yet been announced. As always, we know that the commitment we made is important, but we also know that what our fans want to see from the product is important as well. So we will certainly, do our best to take those wishes into account, and we'll be back with updates at some point in the future.
Great, thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Paul from Minton Box, how's it going, Paul?
Hi, thank you very well. I thank you for this interviews.
Absolutely.
And my first question is about the ASLab project. We see that the Rancor project is a little late compared to the Razor Quest, actually. Do you think to announce the various third parties already planned before the tiers release or no?
Got it, yeah. I mean, certainly, the Razor Crest is a vehicle, the Rancor is a figure. The Razor Crest can just go into hyperdrive, but no, obviously we were excited with how the Razor Crest did. We're excited with how the Rancor is doing as well. We're excited to see where that campaign ends up. We're confident it'll end up in a good place. In terms of the tiers, it's the same thing. You mentioned the Razor Crest. It's the same thing we did with the Razor Crest last year. We want to keep the focus on unlocking the Rancor right now. Which isn't to say, we won't come out with the tiers at some point in the campaign. Basically we want to spread the news out and excitement to kind of keep that excitement going throughout the campaign. But we've got another, I think it's 5 weeks left. So there's a long time to go. And, we're excited to share those tiers at some point sooner or later. We'll see. They'll be exciting whenever they come out. And we're excited to see where that campaign ends up.
Thank you.
Absolutely. George from Collector's Cantina. How's it going, George?
Kind of rough this morning, but it's all right.
Okay.
So
fair answer.
Yeah, I just running around getting things accomplished. But anyway, so I guess my first question is, it'll be for the Rancor. What is this, like a scaled up version of a previous one, or brand new sculpt, or a combination of new sculpts and previous sculpts?
This is all new, so it just leaning into that and really making him kind of the quintessential Rancor. So I think, like we talked in the announcement, looking at the original piece and using scan data from that, and then making sure it's up to the Black Series articulation standards that we've set, and all of that. It is a unique and original piece.
Okay, sounds good. I just wanted to confirm that because I couldn't remember. So thanks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All righty. Up next is Steve from the Force Guide. How's it going, Steve? Oh, do we not have Steve? I guess we don't have Steve. We do have 6 people though. So let's see. I think we've got, I'll defer to LPR and Aaron to chat about this, but I think we've got Luke from Star Wars Sessions, and then Matt Hudson. In any case, we'll go. Matt, are you from the Force Guide?
No, Star Wars Sessions.
Okay, so we've got Matt and Luke from Star Wars Sessions. Got it. Okay, so it looks like we don't have the Force Guide. So Deanna and Aaron can chat about that offline. So up next, we've got Matt and Luke from Star Wars Sessions. Go ahead, whichever one of you guys wants to jump in first.
I think I'll take this one. Hello, Patrick, Chris. Good to see you guys again.
Well.
Quick one. We get this question asked a lot, and we aren't the experts. You guys are. Marvel Legends, Ghostbusters, and the other lines seem to have their products out, either before the week of release or just after their TV show or film was released. Why is Star Wars being seen to be behind the curve in this?
Absolutely, yeah. We can't comment on other brands, what they do. Certainly, we've said this in the past. I think we said in 2016 or 2017, Luke Skywalker in Episode 7, we saw him on screen the first time that fans did. And basically, there's always a balance. We certainly, in a perfect world, we would love to get out product time to the release. At the same time, we've seen from The Mandalorian that there's power in fans seeing those things for the first time on screen. And so it's always a balance there. And, certainly there are some products that, for The Mandalorian, we were able to kind of announce during season 2, I think Black Series for Bo-Katan. There's other products that we have to wait a little longer for, but just know kind of we've got a great partnership with Lucasfilm, and the goal is always ensuring the best possible experience for fans, kind of holistically with both the entertainment and the product.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. I think without the Force Guide here, then we go back to the top with Mr. Burns.
So Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is getting a lot of 6-inch Black Series love, but the Vintage Collection seems to be a poor relation in the parks. Just because you can't make 3 3/4 collectibles for the parks, or what's the reason behind that?
Yeah, the short answer is no, that's not the reason. We consider all lines for all opportunities, whether that's in the parks or certain retailers, mainline. Honestly, there's only been a handful of Galaxy's Edge exclusives thus far. I think it's 5 or 6 total that Hasbro's worked on. It's definitely, I'll say it's not indicative that this is the only course for the future. We certainly lean into Vintage and Black Series in different ways that make sense for the expression. Obviously, a different example, we do more vehicles and play sets, obviously, for Vintage Collection. But, I'll just say, I think that's just the way it's turned out thus far. But definitely, Vintage is not out of scope for the future.
Rex. Okay. All right. That's good. Thank you.
Absolutely. No problem. Khalil, you're up.
So going back to the idea of those packs, the creature pack that you guys announced. Yeah. It's a really cool idea. I really like it. Is it one of those things where you're kind of testing to see if there's interest in it, to kind of go back and look at smaller characters that wouldn't, necessarily fit for a full re-release, but looking at Galaxy's Edge to kind of get a redeco in? Are you looking to see if that line will continue, or is it just like a one-off saying these haven't been on shelf, I think, ever in some cases, for the general public, and getting those out to people? I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, and I think that's something, and we're always looking for ways to bring fun stuff out for fans. And that was a great opportunity to be able to do that and deliver a bunch of kind of those obscure little bits and pieces that some of them, like you said, like we know were harder to get. And it's just a fun way to do that. We're always looking for those opportunities. So, do we have any current plans for more? Nothing specific, but we're always looking for a way to deliver that kind of stuff.
I missed the Toto, so I want one of those to go with my Cad Bane. That was the thing, is sold out like that. So looking for new avenues to get little droids into the Black Series.
Oh no, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that one was warmly received, and you're right. We're always exploring different ways to get those items out there while still preserving the value of the original. So it's a balance, as in all things. Great. All righty, Paul.
Yeah.
You're up next.
It's another question about the Rancor, and I think you already answered to it because it's about the packaging. I just want to know if you already think to it with vintage, the Black Series packaging like the other line, or it's a special Black Series package with windows for collector who want to collect it with the package?
Well, we're not to packaging yet. So, I mean, like Patrick said earlier, like our focus right now really is on just making sure we can do the Rancor.
Yeah.
So, and we're excited about it, and we're thinking about a lot of different ways to go about that. I mean, it will be something fun that will fit with Black Series and be unique to a HasLab. So,
thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. George, what do you got?
Okay, so for the newest Mandalorian and Grogu sets for the Black Series and the Vintage Collection, are the figures just repacks from the ones that have been previously released, or is there any differences in the figures, from the previous releases? They all seem to be, especially the Black Series, they seem to be the Target exclusive and everything else. And I didn't know if they were still the same figure, just with new accessories, or differences in the figures.
I'm not sure of the specifics on those figures. I believe there are some unique interpretations on them, whether that's deco or an individual piece here or there. But just looking for ways to bring kind of those popular characters in a different approach.
I think wasn't the thigh updated, I believe, and then it certainly has the snowy deco. These are the Meldo Crease items, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The special deco and those the paint and mud type deco is it's a unique approach to things. So
yeah, and it's just like throughout the saga, obviously, it's that balance again, right? We want to make sure that fans have these scene accurate versions of characters and don't have to take their Beskar Mando and put them on Muldo Crease and have it be a little off. So we do love kind of being able to make those small tweaks that make them perfectly accurate to that scene, because we know that's important to fans.
Okay, thank you. That's what I kind of figured, but just kind of looking at them, I didn't really see much in the photos, so I just wanted to confirm that. Thanks.
No problem. Awesome. All righty, back to Matt or Luke.
Yeah, it's my turn this time. Patrick, lovely to see you again, and hello, Chris. Hope you are both well. Next year is the busiest Star Warsy year probably ever. Obviously, yeah, I know, right? Celebration. We're excited. Yeah. Book of Boba Fett obviously spills into 2022. We've got Kenobi, Bad Batch Season 2, Andor, and potentially a Mando Season 3. So is there a game plan? Is there going to be a big wait between products coming out related to those shows? Like, how soon will people be able to get their hands on merch relating to these projects?
Yeah, the first thing I can say is there's definitely a game plan. Again, I've said in the past, Lucasfilm they're the best partners in the business. And, obviously they've always got a great plan. Obviously, I can't say anything specifically about the actual entertainment. This kind of harkens back to the previous question. We work closely. We have multiple calls and meetings a week, and we're always trying to strike that balance of, it's certainly ideal to get that product out, right? Like, that's what we love. But again, we don't want to take anything away from the on-screen moment. And, I think I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like when I saw Luke at the end of Ep7, or when I saw Grogu, the child at that point at the end of the first chapter of The Mandalorian, those are amazing moments. And so it's striking that balance. But we're aware of what's coming in 2022, and we're working hard to get that product out, as close to the entertainment timing as possible.
Man, we're excited. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. All righty. Back to James.
The Cantina Showdown Black Series set has been immensely popular. I mean, it's sold out in the US. I think there's still some stock available in the UK. For those that couldn't necessarily afford to buy 2 of those Cantina sets, will you find another way in the future to try and get those bar pieces back out?
Yeah, and I think, like we've said before, like, nothing's off the table for future stuff. We don't have any plans for it currently. But yeah, I mean, it's very cool. I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite parts of that. I think you guys probably picked up on that on
Absolutely.
Pulsecon, but like just the ability to reconfigure all that, it's a great feature add for that. So if there's a way we can do that in the future that makes sense, I think we'll keep that in mind. So
I mean, they're done and ready, so I mean, it's just a matter of trying to slot them in, I guess.
finding a way, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And that's the thing. It goes back to those Galaxy's Edge packs, right? When we did the Minok in 2018, at the time, it was 3-4 years ago, we had no plans to do that again, and then the great opportunity presented itself.
Right.
Cool. All righty, Khalil, what's on your mind?
So one of my questions already got asked, but I want to follow up to what James has said. One of the things that we noticed was there was in all the live streams and the announcements of that Cantina bar, there were questions. You guys were saying, get 2 or add a second one, and we see that with the troopers, like they're troop builders, and so suggestions is to buy multiples. We're limited in what we can buy as a consumer, and we appreciate that, because I think it allows for more of us to get stuff, and it doesn't sell out as quickly. But when suggestions are coming from Hasbro saying, buy at least 2, or we're recommending buy 2 so you can make this really nice display, but we're limited to just the one. Is there any thought going into Hasbro Pulse of going, all right, well, maybe we'll up it to 2 at least, or 3, whatever you guys are recommending, versus like what we're actually physically able to buy.
Yeah, and we're definitely aware of that disconnect. Basically, when we were planning this item, whatever it was, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, the world was in a different place than it is today. And essentially, by when the time came to sell this item, just the world was in a different place. We all know the state of the world right now. And so we're working, we're looking into, again, no promises, seeing if we can get additional quantities of that item in 2022, because we know that fans want to build out that full Cantina. Given the quantities we had for the event, we wanted to do our best to ensure that everyone who want one got one. And again, that's just a function of where the world is right now.
Yeah, no, I say from a fan perspective, it's great to be able to say, okay, like it's like going to Comic-Con, you get 1 stamp badge, that's it. Like, so we appreciate that, but it's kind of like the sales piece of it kind of disconnected. So that's all.
I think if we knew where things would have been, we probably would have, I don't know, probably, we might have taken a different approach to the item. So it's just a disconnect between where we were 2 years ago and where we are now. And then we did our best to make the best of the situation with where we were now. And we'll continue to look into that again in the next year or so, because we know that there's a lot of fans out there who would like another one of that one.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty. Paul, you're up.
Yeah. It's a question about the new Mayfield as tank driver, the Black Series. Just want to know if you think to do this figure in priority, or you think to do the season 1 character in the present. If you have to choose between these 2, or these 2 are already plain, and how to choose to the main one, the main.
With him in particular, there were some efficiencies in doing that season 2 appearance, but it was also such a fun scene. Like, it made a lot of sense to lean into that a little bit, and it's also a more current look than what we saw in season 1. Obviously, like, we're closer to season 2 than season 1, so. But it's like with all the stuff we choose, there's a big mix of factors that go into it. And the fact that we leaned into that tank driver outfit let us do other things with other figures that we might not have been able to do. So it's a balancing act, but I think we made a good choice there, and still getting that character out.
Yes, ready. Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty, George, you're up.
All right. So with the price point of the Cobb, I'm gonna then I can't pronounce the last part of it, but from the Mandalorian. Is this figure considered a deluxe similar to Wrecker? And what is considered to be a deluxe figure? Because I didn't really see much, with it. Just like Wrecker, I didn't see much with it. So why the higher price point for the so-called deluxe?
Yep. So deluxe figures are basically figures that we just could not do in mainline. And I'll tell you honestly, if we didn't have that deluxe line, there wouldn't be a Cobb Vanth today. It's because of the deco on that character. There's more deco. on that character than on a Boba Fett, which is crazy because for years Boba Fett has been kind of the ceiling for a high decoed character. I go back to when we announced the deluxe line. I think it was at some point in 2018 because it launched in 2019, and we launched with General Grievous, who we had been trying to get in the line for years, but just we couldn't get Grievous into our main line. And so the deluxe line offered us a way to do that. And it's the same thing with these characters, whether it's because of deco, or I think we've done this with exclusives as well. Some exclusives, if they have a lot of deco, they just need to be at a different price point. So whether it's through deco, the accessories, the size of the character, excessive soft goods, if they won't work in mainline, then that's when we bring them to deluxe, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do them at all.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like trying to figure it out because it didn't really. I mean, I only saw 2 accessories or 3 accessories for like each one. I'm like, well, why the higher price point? It made no sense, but now it kind of does. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll see that there'll be some flex in exactly what a deluxe is, because it's a way to do, like Patrick said, those things that wouldn't happen otherwise.
Absolutely. Cool. All righty. And I see we've got Steve, which is fantastic. So maybe Steve will catch you up with 2 questions, and then next round we'll do another 2 questions and we'll be all caught up.
Okay, that works. So my first one is with the Black Series Cantina, why design in a modular options when it was limited to 1 per person? Might it be possible to see more releases of the bar sections in other avenues? I think I caught the tail end of that earlier, right when I first joined.
Yeah, so I'll take the first piece and then I'll pitch it to Chris. But yeah, we'll kind of summarize. So basically, kind of the limit of 1 per person again. Kind of when we put that product into motion a couple years ago, just the world's at a different place today, and so it was always the goal to have more than 1 per person. But basically, kind of where we were given the quantities, we wanted to do our best to ensure that everyone who wanted one got one. But we are certainly, as with everything where we know that there's demand out there, we're looking into ways to get additional quantities out there in 2022. No promises, no guarantees, but it is something we're actively exploring. And then Chris, I don't know if you want to answer the second part.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in regard to modularity on that, I mean, it's something we try to build into our playset so that fans can reconfigure them. I mean, I think Emily showed some of the shots from the packaging at Pulsecon where you can take a set or 2 and reconfigure them just to kind of play out a different corner of the cantina and move some accessories around. So
sorry, just so I understand, Steve, were you asking about the Black Series Tatooine Cantina or the vintage Navarro Cantina?
The Black Series.
The Black Series. Oh, sorry. No, I got my wires crossed. So
many
same
cantinas
thing,
in the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
Where they're going with this, because of the modularity and the limited release, those 2 combined, it just made it difficult for fans.
Yeah.
And so I think the other part, Chris, was were there plans to reuse that in the future?
Yeah, and this is one I think you missed a little earlier. We talked. There's not current plans for it, but like with other things, like we want to leave that option open for. Is there a way for us to bring that something that makes sense? So, I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. And now is Steve from the Force Guide. You want to add a second question, Steve, so we can catch you up?
Okay, going again. Regarding the recent pipeline reveals of the Black Series Minutes Collection figurine Dan, the big question is, will he come with only his instrument, include more instruments, or some alternative methods so collectors can fill out the whole band?
Absolutely. So I'm trying to think of how to answer this. So we are aware that the desire for the full band is out there, and we're exploring how to accomplish that. Obviously, just like we said for deluxe figures, we couldn't do kind of, certainly not 6 figures and all the instruments, but even 1 figure and all the instruments in a single release. And that wouldn't necessarily be the most efficient way to get that out there. So we're exploring ways to get the full band out there, even if it's not in the single mainline release.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty, we will move to Star Wars Sessions.
Yes, me again. Are there any plans to make any Star Wars Visions figures? Obviously, that was a very well-received series. People seem to like it. It seems like naturally there'd be some cheeky merch for it. What do you reckon?
We don't have anything to announce currently. No plans for those at the moment, but and we've all been talking about and loving the shows as well. So, I mean, we're excited for it, but like I said, nothing to tell you here. So,
I'll take that as a maybe.
there's a lot of maybes and a lot of potential. I mean, that's like we said earlier. Next year is just a plethora of Star Wars content. So,
sure,
yeah, a lot of our decisions come down to just ciphering or digging through how much stuff there is to do.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go back to James. And as always, we're going to go a little quicker through the last 2 rounds to make sure we get them all in. So James, what do you got?
So overnight we got a picture of the next case assortment for the Black Series figures, which I don't know whether you've seen. I don't know whether you've seen that's come out. Somebody got a case in hand. And obviously that includes the first Black Series Book of Boba Fett figure, Fennec Shand. When something like that happens, rather than us squinting and looking at small pictures which have come about, whether it's legitimately or not, why not just push out real pictures so that everyone can focus on decent images and focus on some proper representation rather than that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Without getting into the specifics, we obviously all of those items, all the items in the line, we've got exciting plans and great ways to bring those to the public. And so basically we're excited about those ways. And so we're going to stick to those basically. And all figures in the line, you guys will definitely see in their beauty images in a way that kind of makes sense for us and for fans.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Khalil, you're up.
So I love the Kenner retro line. Like it's a lot of fun to collect, both on card and off. And we're going into year 4 basically, or the 4th wave. We're seeing, if you guys were to, not asking if you are, but just saying if you were to expand that past just the figures and looking at other releases, would those designs be more simplified to match the look of the Kenner line, or would you guys look at vintage collection and pull something from that? Like if you were to do an X-Wing, or you were to do something, a vehicle or a playset, like a Cantina playset for them, would you kind of simplify those down to kind of match the aesthetics, or would you look at vintage to kind of borrow tooling so that the cost could go down a little bit to kind of match that?
Well, I don't think we would ever do a borrow tooling sort of thing for that, because retro is such a unique style. If we were going to do an X-Wing or something for retro, we would want it to be a retro specific piece. Okay. And the same with vintage. We wouldn't want to muddy those waters between the two, I mean, because they're both such unique and fun ways to look at the figures. I mean, that keeping them different is important. And so,
I think it's fun. It's fun to have like all the different like lineups of like lining those things up. So thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. I believe we're on to Paul.
Yeah, it's a question about the lightsabers for Civics line. Have you already think to sell only the hilt without the blade and with a smaller packaging at a lower price for this line?
Well, for us, one of our priorities with the lightsabers is to really deliver that role play experience, and part of that experience is the blade. So, I mean, for us, that seems a very important part of those sabers. So for now, like there's no plans to do anything other than to continue those with the blades.
Thank you.
Absolutely. George, you're up.
All right. So with the Navarro Cantina playset, how many accessories does that come with? I mean, I saw like a couple bar stools, some glasses and everything else. Is this going to be like similar to what we saw like in the pictures, the press pictures, or is it going to be like fewer stuff?
No, what you saw in those photos is what it'll come with. I mean, there are a couple of those photos that Emily showed on the back of the pack where it was 2 Cantina sets combined into one. So you saw doubles of a lot of those pieces, because you would have doubles if you had 2 Cantinas. But the main packaging shot up front, all those little accessories, the the broken barware and the spatchka bottle and the stools, like all that stuff comes with it.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured. I just wanted to kind of confirm it because sometimes we see different things than what it actually comes with. So that works. Thank you.
Yeah, we dressed the packaging shots up with a couple extra figures to kind of really build that scene on the package, but it comes with the one trooper and then all those accessories.
Cool. All righty, Steve, do you want to fire 2 questions at us? We'll get you fully caught up.
All right. So the HasLab Black Series Ranker, aside from the obvious scale and articulation advantages, what would this provide collectors with that the existing 3 3/4 inch Ranker does not?
Oh, a giant creature. But I mean, seriously, he's scaled for the Black Series figures. So the 3 3/4 inch Rancor is not a Rancor to a Black Series figure. Well, he is, but he's more of a little baby Rancor when you put him next to those guys. So this one's full on for Black Series scale and just beautifully huge.
All right.
And I think probably since it's a HasLab project, certainly kind of a certain level of premium as well, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, plans for what the deco can be on them and just articulation in general. I mean, it's light years beyond the 3 3/4 one. Yeah. And I think you guys saw just like the fingers articulating and stuff in those images and video. It's extra special for sure.
Absolutely. All righty, Steve, do you have another one?
Yes. The Black Series has experimented with deluxe figures such as Boba Fett, Wrecker, and now we're getting Cobb Vanth. These deluxe figures haven't always done great at market, but with buyers struggling to find the value, especially in examples like Moloch and Jar Jar. Cobb Vanth has a lot of advanced deco, but the photos suggest that he comes with considerably fewer accessories than the deluxe Boba Fett, even though Vanth is reusing some parts from that set. When they aren't massive characters, what does Hasbro want collectors to see as in the value in these normal size figures sold at deluxe price points?
Absolutely. Yeah, we touched on this a bit earlier as well, but basically kind of the deluxe figures or anything we just can't do in mainline, and Cobb Vanth wouldn't exist if we didn't have that deluxe line. And it's because of his deco. So just like, Black Series and vintage in and of themselves compared to kind of, our more kid focused lines, like in some cases, vintage might be the same size or so, but it's got the deco, it has the soft goods, it has the articulation. It's not just kind of the size, it has the other things that make it a more screen accurate character. So that's kind of the value in Cobb Vanth, is that, I guess theoretically we could have put out a mainline version that had the deco greatly reduced, but that wouldn't be screen accurate. And we don't think that's something our fans would want. So that's kind of the value there is in the deco.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All righty. Matt and Luke, end of round 4.
End of round 4. When you announced that the Razor Crest would be the HasLab project previously, that felt right, it felt relevant because Mando was on and running. What was the thought process and planning behind deciding that the Rancor would be this next HasLab project?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Jing went into this a little bit during Pulsecon, but it was a couple of things. One, we kind of looked at the landscape for Black Series of items that would make sense, and this is one of the most iconic and the coolest. You're right in terms of kind of relevance. I think she mentioned this as well. This will ship in 2023, and obviously it appeared for the first time in Return of the Jedi, and so we're excited for that window to kind of celebrate and honor that movie. So those two things brought us to the Rancor.
Perfect, thank you.
Absolutely. All righty, we'll go back to the top in a true speed round. James, kick it off.
So we've got 9 weeks left of 2021. Some of us will be pleased to see the back end of it. At the end of 2021, we get the Book of Boba Fett. We've got 9 more weeks then of Bring Home the Bounty. So we've got 9 more weeks of reveals from that. Have we seen, apart from Bring Home the Bounty, will Hasbro be doing anything else in 2021 to reveal other stuff to us, or do we have to wait to Toy Fair?
So two things. One, maybe we're looking into it, nothing to announce here. But that being said, we can't just sweep aside Bring Home the Bounty, because there's been a ton of news from Bring Home the Bounty so far. And there's, I obviously know it's going to be revealed and Bring Home the Bounty. There's a lot of cool stuff left to come.
Okay.
So that's a major program. And even if nothing else comes, the things that we're sharing in Bring Home the Bounty are going to be really cool. So stay tuned to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Khalil.
So a lot of my stuff has been asked, so I'll just say this. The 50th anniversary has been a great kind of segment of Star Wars. I've really enjoyed the retro cards. For both of you, what was your favorite? That if you were only had to keep one going forward, which one would you like to see? Whether it's the EU books or the Kenner card backs from the 90s or the 70s, what was your guys' favorites to do?
You want to go, Chris?
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to pick a favorite. I don't want to give up any of my children.
I'll start then. Give you a little time to think. So for me, it's the publishing. I think I've said publicly before, like my big Star Wars. Obviously, I love the movies as a kid, but I really dove deep into the novels, the Timothy Zahn trilogy, The Truce of Bakura, Courtship of Princess Leia. I think I've said that a Joruus C'baoth figure is my dream figure for the future. And so just seeing those characters come to life has been really cool. So that's the one. That's been my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'll say is, being a child of when I was a child, the retro card back thing is meaningful to me personally. Yeah. But I don't want to give up a world where we get a Jackson Rabbit figure either. So I mean,
they're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vintage.
I appreciate the Jackson one. My dog was named Jackson, so that was awesome. Big one for me. So
very cool. And James, vintage isn't going anywhere. I feel like we have to reaffirm that every time. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay. All right, Paul.
Yeah. My last questions. After the success of the Stormtrooper pack and the new Rebel Fleet Trooper pack, are you thinking to do more pack like this with Clone Trooper or First Order Stormtrooper?
Yeah. I can't comment on the specific selects, but there are absolutely more of those troop packers coming again. I think we said something like we've got big future plans, and that did not end with the Rebel Fleet Troopers. So we're excited about that format. You guys are as well, and there's more to come.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. George?
For the toy action line that's for Disney, are those repacks or those new sculpts? I don't maybe I got, because like I know that you got those like packages for they were up for Disney. So
sorry, the toy action line is
that's what they call it, the toy action line.
So that I don't think I don't think that's a Hasbro line.
Well, you guys gave us the photos for it.
Sorry.
Oh, that's not a Hasbro line? Okay, because I thought we had the. Okay, I'm mistaken then. Sorry, I have to look through this stuff again. But I thought that was for Hasbro. Okay, never mind.
There's so much good product out there. Even I have a hard time keeping track of it all. So, all right, Steve. Last question.
With the Rebel Fleet Trooper Builder 4-pack, at present, the set seems to be only available in the US, Canada, and UK. Will this set be made available to collectors in other international markets?
Yeah. So the short answer is yes. It's available through Shop Disney in all of those markets that have Shop Disney. I think that's, in the EU, certainly, I believe, potentially other markets as well. And I've specifically confirmed that the EU will be getting availability later this year and into 2022. Again, just with the world where it is, it's hard to nail down exactly when those things are coming, but quantities of those items are definitely coming to the EU.
Thank you.
Great. And closing us out, Star Wars Sessions.
Yes, well, it's a good one. I hope it's a good one anyway. In our last session, we asked you this, and I thought I'd chase you guys up to see if Patrick, you know what's coming. Is there any update on a Ben Solo Black Series figure? We love to see it. We want to see one. Anything you guys can provide?
No update for you.
We keep talking about how sometimes we need to like plan a reveal for one of these fan site interviews. That would be a lot of fun. But
yeah, just to be able to go, and yes, right here.
Yeah, just for us. We'll keep a secret.
There we go.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Just, well, if that's the case, then it's just a friendly reminder that there is a lot of love for Ben Solo. So we would love to see that. But apart from that, this has been great. Thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Thank you to you guys as well. You know, I won't go into depth, but like we love doing this. We know it's crazy hours for some of you. So thank you guys. And we look forward to doing it again, hopefully sometime soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks,
very
guys.
much. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take
Have a
care.
good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.